Good afternoon, everybody. I wish to ask you, everybody, how many of you know what Ironman is? Well, Ironman is a triathlon event which is a total distance of 226 kilometers, which needs to be covered in 16 hours. It has three components: swimming, 4 kilometers, cycling, 180 kilometers, and then finally running, which is 43 kilometers. So all this activity is divided into cut-off timings. If you fail to comply with that cut-off time, then you are disqualified from the race. This can happen at any point of time. I was 50 years of age, and at that time, most of my colleagues, my friends, they used to say that you should slow down because this is not the age, and further they would say that our body is not young enough. Somehow I didn't agree to these thoughts, and I always think if you are physically fit and mentally agile, you can take up any challenge and you can become what you want to. And mind you, this applies to each and every field. So something I had to do to prove my point, and one day, as a flash of light, it struck me that I should take up a challenge which is difficult for people of my age, and that was Ironman, and that became my eureka moment. Once I decided that I have to compete for this, then I had to prepare both mentally and physically, because it is not easy. But I had few problems. The most important problem was time, then came the age, and how to manage everything, because I was Commissioner of Police at that time. As Commissioner of Police, you are under the glare of public, and you cannot take out time from your official schedule. Then you will be blamed that you are spending your official time on personal activities. This you should not do, and that was there in my mind. So to keep this in mind, and I thought that if this has to be a complication or limitation, then I must practice at a time when nobody watches me, or secondly, when I'm not in office. So many times I would practice at 2 o'clock or 3 a.m. in the morning. At that time, I had to constantly fight or see the aggression of stray dogs because they will disturb. But the positive part of this was my police force, they knew that I am practicing. So for night patrolling, they will be alert because they know that the Commissioner of Police is there. So that was the positive part. So this is how I kept on preparing for this. But many times while I was preparing, I had to stop my practice because there will be a call that there is some incident or some VVIP movement is happening. So I'll have to abandon this and would go to office. So all the activities I had to do at the time, either on holidays or when it was a time, my personal time, from that I had to practice. Now, this kept me busy, but physical activity is okay, but what about mind? So I thought I have to practice this because I have seen that the mind practice or the mind, if your mind is strong, you can achieve anything. I have seen this in case of high achievers and top sports persons. So I focus more on mind game or mind practice. What I did here was I will start with the meditation, and my kind of meditation, my way of meditation was little different. And here I'll start inhaling from one nostril, exhaling from the other, and vice versa. This I would continue for some time, and once I was done with this, I'll do the humming exercise. Humming in this exercise, I will keep my eyes closed, my ears closed, and with this humming, I was able to bring my mind activities to a lower level, or it became serene. And at that time, I would focus on what I wanted to do. And during this focusing, I will focus again on my the start of my nostril, and would feel the air which is going inside, and it would be cold, and when I was exhaling, it was warm. So after this, I would imagine or visualize. Many people believe that visualization is dreaming, but it is not so. In this visualization, I will make or break all the activity which I was doing. The next day, I'll break it in the smaller pieces, and whatever problem was there, I will anticipate that and would try to find the solution, so that I continue that and then would run the race in mind. So this was the first phase, and second phase was when I started doing running the complete race in mind. So this was the way I prepared myself, and they say that there is a system which is called reticular system. If you activate that system, then it enters only what you want to or what data you want to enter. Suppose if you are allowing the negative data, so many times people say, I won't be able to do this. This is not possible for me. Then our mind or the reticular activation system will allow all those activities to enter into your mind, and then it will be exhibited in your actions also. Against this process, if you do allow only the positive entries into your mind or the data into your mind, then your actions will be positive. So it is basically the affirmations which you give to your mind, they are reflected in your actions. So mind plays the most important role, because when many times, as I mentioned earlier, when I was not able to go for the actual practice, I will run that day's exercise, whether it is swimming, cycling, or running, in my mind, and that would suffice. I am saying this with all conviction because this has helped me. And one dialogue I want to mention here: when I was a child, I used to see Mahabharata serial, wherein Shakuni says that if you want to win a battle in the battleground, then it must first be fought in your mind. How important this statement is. So how important mind is in all our activities. This is what Shakuni says in this. So all these things kept on happening. I kept my mind in all these activities over a period of time. Then, because physically, you have to train your body, because if you don't know what is actually going to happen in the field, you can't. So physical practice, of course, was very important in this whole game. So while I was practicing for swimming, I found that there were many problems, because one was the distance, because 4-kilometer distance is not a small distance. For that, I had to learn the breathing techniques. And this breathing, because when you are swimming in open water, you can't see as compared to when you are practicing in a swimming pool. So when you are practicing there, you have to come out of your phobia, and that you should be able to breathe also. So I worked on it, and finally I could come out of it. Then I was told that temperature in water temperature in Vichy, where I was going to compete, there sometimes the temperature of water falls down to 6 degrees and it may go up. They say at the most it will be 12 degrees. So I had to practice at different times of the day. As I told that it was in open water, so for that I practiced in dams all around Nasik. After overcoming all these difficulties and familiarizing or preparing myself in swimming, I shifted over to cycling. In cycling, the distance was again long, but I had to prepare myself and my mind that there would be inclines and declines. So if these inclines and declines are there, so I will have to choose such kind of areas where I would go and prepare. That helped me in actually realizing what problems could be there. I had to also learn smaller things like if my bike gets punctured, then how to mend it. I also have to learn to bike or cycle with the cleats. If the cleats were not there, then you would take more time to cover the distance, and cleats help you in giving more power to the bicycle. So this kept on happening, and after that came running. So once you are done, say 100 kilometers of cycling, 2 kilometers of swimming, then you don't have that much stamina for running. So I thought why I should not use some technique. So I started using the combination technique, wherein I would cycle sometime, then I combined cycling with swimming, or swimming with running, and running with cycling. This combinations I kept on doing, and this enhanced my confidence level and physical fitness. Ultimately, I could run 42 kilometers. In this also, because if you randomly run, then probably you would not be able to complete the distance with ease. Here I had to do 226 kilometers. So for that, I learned the technique of breathing. With 2 steps, I'll breathe in, and with 2 steps, I will breathe out. So this was one thing I learned. And other things that sprinting, then slow, all these things kept on happening. I'm telling this is that these are the difficulties which you face when you are practicing or want this kind of huge target is there in front of you. And this is applicable to all the goals if you have, whatever you have in life. So this kept on happening. And then once I was done with all these things, I finally went to Vichy. In Vichy, I was supposed to go 4 or 5 days before the event, but being in police, there are external factors, and the same thing happened with me. I had to delay my departure, and when I went to France, Vichy, 2 days before the event. As I didn't have much time to practice physically and actually in the field, so I only used the technique of visualization. I ran the whole race 3, 4, 5 times in my mind that this is how things will happen. I will enter into the water. Water will be cold. I'll have to float for some time. Then I'll pick up. I'll use both the strokes. Once I'm done with 4 kilometers of swimming, I will then start cycling. Cycling for transition time, I will take maybe 4, 5, 10 minutes. Then once the transition is done, I'll start my cycling. And after cycling for 180 kilometers, I will prepare myself for running. So this all was running in my mind. I did this because during my practice sessions, I knew that this pays and that actually happens. There may be some deviations sometimes, but most of the time that was happening. So for actual event started, and I was there at 7 o'clock in the morning. As soon as I crossed the starting line, then after that, the timer started. And once this timing started, the swimming part, I jumped into the water, and after jumping into the water, I felt cold because it was actually very cold at that time. So once I went into the water, I floated for some time, then I started my strokes. Once I was comfortable, I completed my swimming of 2 kilometers. Once that was done, as I was coming out of the pool, I hurt myself in my knee, and I had to sit there for some time. Because I could not get up, I thought, what is going to happen? I asked for water from the organizers, but they said we don't have drinking water here. So I again jumped into the water because time was running short. I jumped into water again, and then because water was cold, I could continue my swimming after that. Once swimming was done, I started my cycling, and cycling for kilometers. At that exact moment, I again faced trouble. I had cramp in my left leg. At that time, I actually had to stop and interact with my muscle. That time, I was seeing many cyclists, they had crossed me. There I interacted with my muscle. Why you are not performing when my right leg muscle is doing so well? At that time, after this, I again started my journey, and after that there was no problem. I thought it has actually listened to my communication. Then once it was done, I finally started running. At that time I was fatigued, my body was not pushing, but there mind again played the role, and it compelled my body to pick up and keep running. And it happened, and finally when there was 100 meters distance left, I had already told my wife that you be there and give me the national flag, and I took that national flag in my hands. And finally, when I was approaching the finish line, I could hear the shouting of people, India, India, India. And then finally, in 15 hours and 13 minutes, I could complete that race and became the first Ironman above the age of 50. And that was an achievement. Once it was done, I had a sigh of relief. Here I can tell you that two things I've learned from this race. One is that if you decide something with conviction, and if you are mentally and physically trained, you can achieve that. Secondly, with 100% conviction, I can say at the starting line, which I did, my whole body, mind, and soul were in sync, and that allowed me to complete this race. Finally, I wish to tell you that it was my eureka moment which helped me realize that the possible lies in impossible. It is the I in you which prompt you and which push you to attain that goal which you have done. And I could find and finally complete my eureka moment and became Ironman. So this was the journey which I did, and with proud I tell to you all that please look for your eureka moment and achieve your goals. Thank you.